This is a Snap-Ed New York video presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Wendy Beckman and I'm a registered dietitian with the New York State Office for the Aging and Snap-Ed New York. Thanks for joining me today on What's Cooking with NYSOFA. Today I'm going to be making a roasted chicken with veggies. This is a nice one-pan meal that can save time with cleanup. We'll be posting the link to the recipe below, and the recipe can also be found on the Snap-Ed New York website at www.snapedny.org. This recipe makes 9 servings, but you can easily cut the recipe in half, and that's what I'm going to be showing you here. You can also make the whole recipe and use the leftovers to make other meals throughout the week. I have a great video for a chicken, rice, and apple salad that works great for leftover chicken, so you can check that out. Another nice thing about this recipe is that it calls for root vegetables, and you can use any root vegetable that you prefer to make the recipe your own. Now, before I start cooking, let's look at the My Plate graphic. This recipe covers the protein section and the fruits and vegetables section on the My Plate graphic. The chicken in the recipe provides us with protein. Protein is an important component of a healthy diet since our body uses the amino acids and proteins to rebuild cells. As we age, our bodies use protein less efficiently than when we were younger, so you want to include high-quality proteins in your diet. You can vary your protein routine by including animal-based forms of protein like lean chicken, fish, pork, or beef, and plant-based proteins like nuts, seeds, beans, and legumes. Including more plant-based protein sources in your meals is good for heart health. Remember that everything you eat and drink over time matters. Make every bite count by finding your healthy eating style and maintaining it for a lifetime. The right mix can help you be healthier now and in the future. Now, before we get into this recipe, last month I made a Brussels sprouts, sweet potato, and apple hash that was delicious. If you didn't get a chance to see that video, you can view it on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page or the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel. So let's get into making this roasted chicken and veggies dish. Remember to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer before you start cooking. Like I mentioned previously, this recipe makes 9 servings. Each serving is 240 calories, 6 grams of fat, 7 grams of fiber, and 19 grams of protein. So let's look at the ingredients for the recipe. Now I'm going to tell you what the recipe calls for, but I have half of those ingredients in front of me here. Here I have a pound of carrots, but you can also use sweet potatoes, and I have 1 large onion sliced up, and I also have that in with the carrots. Here I have 3 pounds of chicken pieces, and here I'm using some chicken thighs, but you can use breasts or any other chicken pieces you prefer. If you want to cut down on the saturated fat in the recipe, you can take the skin off yourself, or you can buy the skinless version of the chicken. I also have a pound of root vegetables. You can use red potatoes, beets, turnips, or rutabagas, or parsnips. I have red potatoes and beets because I wanted to add some color. I have some garlic powder over here, but you can also use 1 clove of fresh garlic, minced, or you can use a teaspoon of minced garlic from a jar. So any of those will work. I also have 1 large lemon here. I have a 1/4 cup of olive oil, but you can use any kind of vegetable oil of your choice. I also have a 1/4 cup of water here. And I also have a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Now, you can put salt and pepper into this recipe if you want to, but I'm going to try and cut down on the amount of sodium in the recipe, so I'm going to skip both of those things. Now, first thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and I have already done that. So the next step is to cut the lemon in half and squeeze the juice into a large bowl. You want to make sure you use a large bowl. So I've got the knife here. I'm going to make sure that my fingers are out of the way, and I'm going to cut this lemon in half. If you want to use some lemon juice that comes out of a jar or a bottle, that's perfectly fine also. The 1 lemon is going to give you about maybe 3/4 of a cup to a cup of lemon juice. So let's squeeze that out here. I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to squeeze the other half of the lemon here. That smells really good. I'm going to make sure we get all of the juice out of there. And then at the end, if you use a lemon and squeeze it, as opposed to bottled lemon juice, you want to make sure that you get the seeds out of there. So get those out of there also. Okay, let's do that. And then the next thing that I am going to add is the water. Also going to add the oil. I'm going to add the garlic powder. And I'm going to add the Italian seasoning. And at that point, if you use the salt and pepper, you would add that now as well, but I'm not going to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is whisk all of this together, and I'm going to get my whisk to do that. And you can add any other sort of seasonings that you want to this. So if you had a poultry seasoning that you wanted to use, or you had some thyme or some, anything that you thought, parsley, anything like that, you can just throw it all in there. So that is looking pretty good. It smells really good too. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the vegetables, and we're going to make sure that they are coated with the mixture. So I'm going to add the onions and the carrots together. I'm going to put those in there. And then we're going to add the potatoes and the beets. So that's why you want a nice big bowl so that everything fits in there. And I'm going to get myself a spoon, and we're going to try and gently sort of mix all of that together. Probably move that over a little bit. It is a little challenging to make sure that you get everything coated evenly, but we want to make sure that the veggies all have a nice coating of that nice lemon marinade on there, because you're going to taste that when the dish is completed. Oh, lost a carrot, lost an onion, throw them back in there. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to put it in my baking pan. So I have one behind me here. And you can use a glass pan like this. If you want to, you can line it with some aluminum foil, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put everything in there the way that it is right now. So I want to spoon the vegetables into the pan because I'm going to reserve the leftover marinade. And if I just take it and dump it into the pan, I won't have the marinade to use for the chicken. So let's spoon all of this in here. Make sure that you get all of your small pieces there, and you can see how colorful this is. And you want to vary your veggies, have different vegetables throughout the week. The vegetables with the different colors have different nutrients in them, different vitamins and minerals that we need. So it's really nice to have different colors in your dishes if you can get that done at any certain point. So there, I really like the way that the carrots and the beets and the potatoes look together. That looks great. I'm almost done here. Just a little bit more. And you can see that I still have a pretty good amount of that marinade in the bottom of the bowl, and I can use that for the chicken. So the first thing that we have to do with these vegetables is we have to cook them a little bit first before we put the chicken in. So that looks like that's all I'm going to get out of there, but that's all right. Okay, one more piece of onion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these veggies and they're going to go into the oven, and we're going to cook these for about 10 minutes. So let me put those in the oven. All right, now the next thing that we have to do is we have to put the chicken in the bowl so that it can marinate a little bit. So I'm going to use some tongs. And here are my chicken pieces. I'm going to just throw them right in there. We can coat them, turn them over, make sure that all the sides are covered. All right, get another piece right here. We'll do the same thing with that one. Make sure that all the sides are covered. And the last piece here. All right, mix that around a little bit. All right, now that all of those are in there, while those vegetables are cooking for 10 minutes, you can let that chicken marinate for about 10 minutes. So because I just touched this chicken, I'm actually going to wash my hands again, because to avoid cross-contamination to different surfaces on my kitchen counter, I want to make sure I wash my hands. They might have some salmonella or something on them, some bacteria that was on the chicken. So after the veggies are done cooking for 10 minutes, you can take the pan out of the oven and place the marinated chicken in the pan with the veggies. So let me go grab that pan right now. I'm going to need my pot holder. All right, so these veggies have been cooking for a little bit. And now we're going to want to take these chicken pieces and place them right on top of the veggies. They've been marinating for about 10 minutes or so. At least they would be in your kitchen. So we're going to place them on there. And then if you wanted to sprinkle some more seasoning on top of it, you absolutely could do that. Again, like if you had a poultry seasoning or you wanted to put some paprika on there or something, you absolutely can do that. All right, so that's those 3 pieces. And then you're going to put this back in the oven and let the chicken roast for about another 40 minutes. So let me put those back in the oven. You're going to want to make sure that you turn the vegetables about every 15 minutes or so. And remember to cook the chicken to an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's throw that in the oven right now. So when you are cooking your chicken, make sure that you cook the chicken to an internal temperature of about 165 degrees. You can use a probe thermometer just like this one. You're going to insert the thermometer into the chicken at one of the thickest parts and make sure the thermometer is inserted far enough into the chicken. Usually there is a little dimple on the metal probe that tells you how far it has to go in. And after the chicken is cooked, you then cut into the chicken. It should be running clear with the juices and there shouldn't be any pink areas. So let me show you what the recipe looks like when it's completed. Make some room on the counter here. Let me get this out of here. So that is what it looks like when it's completed. It smells really great. So this recipe does take a little bit more time to cook, but what a great recipe for the colder months when you want some comfort food. I hope this recipe gave you some more ideas on how to incorporate more vegetables and lean protein into your diet. Join me next month in January when I'll be making some garden sloppy joes. This is a recipe that has a new twist on an old favorite. I'll be back with another edition of What's Cooking with NYSOFA on Friday, January 27th at 12:30 p.m. on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page and the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel, where you can find out more ways to save time, save money, and eat healthy. This presentation was funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Stay safe, everyone, and see you next time.
Thank you for joining us today. We know the healthy choice isn't always the easiest choice, but small changes can make a big difference. Start today by getting involved with SNAP-Ed New York. This program is free for those who qualify or receive SNAP benefits. We want to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy. Learn how SNAP-Ed can make a difference in your life. For more information and to find your local program, visit snapedny.org. This material was funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.